TC Electronic has some of the best audio plugins that are used in music production, but also in the movie industry. Recently, they released a couple of great plugins based on their System 6000. I've been using some of the TC Electronic plugins for more than 10 years now on their PowerCore 6000 platform. Some of my favorites are the MD3 bundle, the CL1B compressor, the VSS3 Reverb, the Dynamic EQ, and so on. Today, I'm going to review the VSS4 HD Native. But before we do that, if you want to improve your mixes and masters in less than 10 minutes, get your free cheat sheet here. While you do that, I'll play my awesome intro. The VSS4 HD Native is a true stereo, high-definition authentic space reverb based on the System 6000. This system is used in mixing and mastering studios around the world, but also in post-production. And for the first time, we get the chance to use the VSS4 HD Native in our DAWs. In TC Electronic words, this is the most transparent reverb ever made for your DAW, which is capable of treating your program material with source-related reflections from multiple angles. Now, this becomes interesting, and there is more information here. As I already mentioned, the VSS4 HD Native is based on the System 6000, and if you're interested, you can find more information in the system's manual. So this is how the VSS4 from the system looks like. If you want to install the VSS4 HD Native, you can find the software here, but also its manual for more information. Now let's jump into the session. And here's how the VSS4 HD Native looks. Let's check it out really quick. At first glance, you can see that there are four main sections: Main, Setup, Color, and Glows. Let's start with the main section. In the main section, we can customize settings like the master decay, the high cut, and other settings. And at the bottom, we can customize the main settings of the early reflections. In the Setup section, you can customize the location. By default, it is set to Vienna Hall. But if you need other locations like a bathroom, a jazz club, church, cinema, concert hall, and so on, you can choose them here. As I said, engineers can use this plugin also for films and post-production, not only in mixing. And here you can customize the sources and angles, and at the bottom you can customize the levels. In the colors section, you can customize the reverb color filters, but also the reverb decay and the band crossovers. We already talked about the master decay that you can customize in the main section, but in the color section you can go further and customize the decay time on individual bands, which is pretty cool. In the glows section, you can choose between different types of reverbs like normal or colored, the reverb diffuse, but also you can adjust the reverb modulation. Next, in this section here, you can choose and assign the main settings you want to have in front of you at all times for a quicker access. And in this section here, you can choose different presets. By default, we are offered to listen to the VSS4 HD Large Hall. In this part of the video, we're going to actually test the VSS4 HD Native Reverb along with the VSS3 HD Native, also from TC Electronic, a reverb that I like very much. But before we do that, what you will hear me saying about this reverb or any other one is purely my opinion, nothing more. You should not take this as the ultimate truth. Like you, I'm just always searching for the best processors that the audio market is offering. Furthermore, VSS3 and VSS4 are different reverbs, and I also didn't match their settings because this is not the purpose of this video. My intention with this video is mainly to test the VSS4 HD Native, while I also use as reference some of the reverbs I like. That's it. Now that we got this out of the way, for this test I'll use a song of mine. I set on the VSS4 HD Native the default setting, that is the VSS4 HD Large Hall. I also will increase the master decay to 5 seconds. And you see here it says that the high cut is at 2.17 kHz. On the VSS3 Native, I selected the Large Hall Clear preset and I changed the decay to 5 seconds. And I'll change the high cut also to 2.17 kHz as in the VSS4 case. Again, just a heads up, these reverbs are not supposed to sound similar, because they are different beasts. Now, enough talking, let's actually listen to how the reverbs affect this particular material. At this point, it seems to me that the VSS4 has a longer decay, and indeed it had a longer high-mid decay than the VSS3. This is why I went further and matched on the VSS3 Native some more settings like the low cut, the bass decay and the air crossovers as in the VSS4. So let's listen. Now, that's more like it. The VSS3 this time sounds more like the VSS4, but still, to me the VSS4 is wider, more spacious, and it also brings some extra richness into play, which I really like. And this is my opinion so far. And you, what do you think? Comment below and let's share ideas. And while you do that, in a very gentle way, hit that subscribe button. Okay, let's move on. A couple of years ago, while having some problems with making my PowerCore work in my setup so that I can be able to use the VSS3, the PowerCore version, I started to search for alternatives. And from my tests, I liked the most the VSR S24 from Relab Development. According to Relab Development, the VSR S24 is an exhaustive stereo emulation of the iconic high-end TC Electronic VSS 6.1 algorithm for both music and post-productions. After a couple of tests, I immediately bought it. Up until this day, this is one of my favorite reverbs. And in the next section of this video, I would like to test it along the VSS4 HD Native and see how it affects this particular track. In order to make a more accurate test, I matched the band's decay and the air crossovers as much as possible, and on the VSS4 I cut the input gain by 3 dBs in order to adjust the volume between the two reverbs. So let's listen. After different takes on this test, it is really hard for me to distinguish between the two reverbs. They almost sound the same. I say almost because I couldn't match all the settings, as they have different options. Overall, the two reverbs sound like the same reverb to me. So there you have it. In this video we tested the VSS3 Native and the VSS4 HD Native from TC Electronic, but we also compared the VSS4 HD Native with the VSR S24 from Relab Development. So which one is the best? Before I tell you my honest opinion, don't forget to get your cheat sheet so that you can improve your mixes and masters in less than 10 minutes. So, which plugin is the best sounding? Honestly, these reverbs are some of the best reverbs I ever used. And a better question might be, which reverb is best for this particular song? In this particular case, I love the VSS4 HD Native from TC Electronic. It just hugs the piano track and makes it bigger, larger and warmer. So for this particular track, I prefer the VSS4 HD Native. And of course, I will also continue to use the VSR S24. But the bottom line is, in my honest opinion, the VSS4 HD Native is one of the best reverbs I have ever heard. And if I would have to choose between the VSS3 Native and VSS4 HD Native, at this point in my audio production journey, I would definitely go with VSS4 HD Native. So there you have it. This was my honest review of the VSS4 HD Native. And what about you? What are your thoughts on this? Share them in the comments below. And help me grow this channel with a big like and subscribe for more videos like this and audio production tips. Until next time, stay cool and make great music.